Now on 4 News Now at 6, the rain will soon move out, but we have snow and gusty winds on the way. I'll let you know when to expect the next storms in your First Alert forecast.
And high winds mean an increased chance of power outages. What steps you could take right now to lower your chances of being left in the dark?
Plus, the cost of natural gas is going up. We break down ways you can save some money while keeping your family warm this winter. You're watching 4 News Now at 6.
We'll be getting a break from the rain tomorrow, but you want to make sure you're prepared for winter, as we could see the first measurable snowfall of the season. Thanks for joining us. I'm Aaron Luna.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. Snow isn't the only thing the 4 News Now weather team is tracking tonight. Let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker to see what else is on the way.
A very busy start to November, and that is going to continue through the start of the weekend. Here are 4 things you need to know about your weather. Our rain will be coming to an end later tonight in the overnight, but there's going to be a brief period of time where it may be cold enough that we transition over to snow. If anything, you may notice a little bit of white on the grassy surfaces, but it shouldn't have any impact on the start to your Wednesday. Snow levels dropping. The valley snow will be an issue Friday morning. We could be looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow around Spokane, with more in Coeur d'Alene. It will melt throughout the day and should mainly be on the grassy surfaces, but could still impact that Friday early morning commute. And then the winds pick up late on Friday, and this storm has the potential to produce some damaging winds, knocking out power and doing tree damage as well. Right now, we're looking at rain through the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. We're zoomed in on Doppler radar. It has been a wet day across the inland Northwest. Not quite a back edge to this precipitation developing yet. That will be sometime after midnight, but should be before our temperature drops too low. Right now, we are in the 30s, however, in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, Sandpoint, and Bonners Ferry. It's 33 presently in Pullman. Right around the Spokane area, we find 40s in downtown Spokane and Liberty Lake. It's 43 at 9 Mile and 40 right now in Deer Park. This evening, expect that rain to continue throughout the evening. Will not start tapering off until overnight. I'll let you know what kind of weather to expect for your Wednesday. You might want to take advantage of it. It'll be one of our calmer days. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Chris, thank you. And ahead of the weather systems, we have several of them, but the ones specifically this weekend, it's important to prepare ahead of time in the event of a power outage or serious damage.
KXLY's Jordan Smith spoke with Avista today to learn more on how to stay safe and prepared ahead of this windstorm.
Well, preparation is the name of the game, especially with windstorms in our region. When wind gusts reach 45, 50 miles an hour, we start to see increased power outages and more branches get ripped off of trees. So I spoke with Avista today about how they plan to prepare and tips you can do to prepare ahead of this system.
It's expected to be a wet and windy weekend. Our region hunkering down for wind gusts up to 40 to 50 miles an hour.
I think there's most likely going to be some power outages that occur.
John Fox with the National Weather Service tells me that with so many leaves still left on the trees, the added weight could cause concerns should these winds rip the branches off these trees. Though that will most likely occur in isolated instances, and Avista stands ready.
Avista is in the process of getting crews ready to go for this upcoming potential windstorm that's going to impact our system on Friday night.
They tell me they've been working closely with the National Weather Service as this system inches closer to our region, saying crews are standing by, ready to go at a moment's notice.
And they're ready to work extended hours starting Friday evening into Saturday, and we'll work 24/7 until all customers are restored.
In anticipation for potential power outages, Avista is recommending residents load up on light sources, keeping flashlights handy along with a supply of batteries.
If they have a generator, they should get that fueled and make sure that it's operating properly.
If you're concerned about trees on your property or branches that hang adjacent to power lines, they recommend you give them a call.
Yeah, vegetation management is part of Avista's maintenance practices that we have on our system.
And should your power go out this weekend, report that outage to them as soon as you can.
And we'll know more about this system as we get deeper into the week. For now, if you want more helpful tips about power outages, you can visit myavista.com, and they'll also have a link to an outage map should your power go out. Reporting in Spokane tonight, I'm Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
Jordan, thank you. And before we see our first snow of the season, it's a good time to bring in those boats, trailers, and basketball hoops if you haven't already. Chris also mentioned the Halloween decorations. That is a good point. The city of Spokane is urging people to think ahead and be ready for the snow. The city asks people to park on the odd side of the street during winter. Plows will use satellite locations to gather what they need to plow and clear snow sooner by not having to come back to a central location. Plows start off near arterials and hospital districts. Residential areas tend to come last. Street crews can do a full city plow in 3 days.
Our winter weather is a little bit different, but if there's one thing you can count on, it's snow, ice, and cold temperatures. And as you probably know, we're hearing that it's going to be another La Nina winter. This is the third consecutive La Nina winter that's been forecasted, but I think everyone is thinking this is going to be the bigger one.
Residents are asked to clear a 36-inch path, helping pedestrians and disabled people to navigate safely. You can also track when plows will be coming to your neighborhood on the city's website. Well, rain is likely a factor in a crash that happened late this morning in Spokane. According to WashDOT, several vehicles and a dump truck were involved in a crash on the westbound side of Interstate 90 at the Lincoln Street exit just before 11 a.m. The crash left at least one lane blocked, causing a traffic jam, as you see on your screen. As that crash was cleaned up, another one happened near Division, leaving traffic blocked for a few hours.
Pfizer is working on an RSV vaccine for pregnant women to combat the illness, sending thousands of kids to the emergency room. Here's how it works. Expecting mothers would get the vaccine in their late second or third trimester. They would then pass the antibodies on to their babies. The company says early studies show an 82% effectiveness in preventing severe sickness during the first 90 days of life. It also found it was 69% effective through the first 6 months.
RSV infects everyone. But among young children, the most vulnerable are those in the first few months of life. We have a high probability now of protecting against serious illness and hospitalization.
And though the new vaccine won't be available in time to help this current spike, the FDA and CDC could give the green light for next year. Pfizer says the data is promising for the same vaccine for people 65 and older.
Well, it's official. The rivalry game between the Cougs and the Huskies is sold out. This means your last chance to see the Cougs play in Pullman will be against Arizona State, and that's on the 12th. We have a link to buy tickets for that game right now on KXLY.com.
Sheriffs across Washington are calling out lawmakers ahead of the midterm election. The law, they say, is making their jobs more difficult coming up. Plus,
this area here behind me may not look like a cemetery in the traditional sense of the word. It is one of a few newer and more sustainable options being offered to the Spokane community. I have details on that coming up in just a few minutes. You are watching 4 News Now at 6.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
Save your green!
I'm Chris Jordan, candidate for county commissioner. My Republican opponent is not telling the truth about me. It's straight from their playbook. First, make stuff up. What? Then, twist my words. Next, prey on fear, and repeat, repeat, repeat. But I know Spokane won't fall for it. The truth is, I've protected public safety and worked with both parties to get results.
Vote Chris Jordan, Democrat.
The people ask us to bring peace to the city of Spokane. House mainstream accepts.
I know you. There's something awakening in my mind.
You must face your fears.
Come with me.
You need to be ready.
It's a prime-time Plinko party like you've never seen. Qualify in November and win a shot at Plinko cash at the Kootenai Casino in Bonners Ferry. And our Plinko party is just the beginning. Midweek room rates are just $109 for Kootenai Falls Lodge or $129 for a Riverview room. Both come with breakfast for 2. If you like parties and you like winning cash, book a getaway to the Kootenai Casino. Call 888-YOU-ARE-LUCKY or visit KootenaiRiverInn.com.
COVID is tricky, but we've got a few tricks of our own, like keeping rapid tests at home so that if you feel sick or have been exposed to COVID, you can check if it's safe to be around others. Because when we take care of each other, we help reduce the spread of COVID.
Are all of our parents and spouses in the CIA?
But what a great cover if we were too.
Well, we are.
Next Live, Daniel Radcliffe and Carrie-Ann Inaba.
Watch live tomorrow at 9, right after GMA.
September 7th was horrible.
All hell broke loose.
80% of the town lost their homes.
My family's home burned to the ground.
It was just heartbreaking.
Kathy was there for us.
Not taking political sides.
She's done a lot.
Put her name on the line to help here.
Kathy helped us start the journey to rebuilding.
She went above and beyond.
She genuinely, actually cares.
I'm Kathy McMorris-Rogers, and I approve this message.
In our For the People coverage tonight, sheriffs from several counties across Washington state are calling out legislators just before the midterm election.
They claim some legislators have used a pro-law enforcement stance to appeal to more voters while passing laws that say otherwise. New at 6 o'clock, Vanessa Perez in studio with those sheriffs' message.
That's right. Sheriffs from across the state, including Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich, say they're frustrated with that narrative just for the purpose of the election. They say some didn't put words into action on the House floor. They say because of it, sweeping police reform bills made their jobs harder and put public safety at risk. The sheriffs on the call today spoke specifically to bills that changed use of force, Terry stops, and pursuits. They say even investigations are suffering because a new law requires an attorney to be present when a juvenile is being questioned.
The narrative, and it's time to change the policy and bring safety, and it's your safety. Mom and pop, this is your safety that we're talking about, your kids' safety. It's time to change that narrative.
Sheriff specifically called out legislator Jesse Johnson, who represents areas in King County. I reached out to Johnson and have not heard back yet. Governor Jay Inslee rolled back some police reform legislation earlier this year. One makes clear that police can use force to stop people from fleeing temporary investigation detention, also known as Terry stops. Live in studio, Vanessa Perez, 4 News Now.
Vanessa, thank you. Around the nation, big names from both sides of the aisle are hitting the campaign trail to make their final pitch to voters in key battleground states. Former President Barack Obama showing his support to Democratic candidates in Arizona and Nevada, 2 states that are critical for the party to retain control of the U.S. Senate. Those stops after he fired up crowds in Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan over the weekend. Former Vice President Mike Pence will be heading to Georgia, where he will campaign with Governor Brian Kemp, a candidate not endorsed by former President Trump.
Brand new tonight at 6 o'clock. The man accused of attacking the Speaker of the House's husband at their home pleaded not guilty.
ABC's Justin Finch explains why investigators say the attack is politically motivated.
In California, 42-year-old David DePape now facing state and federal charges after his alleged brutal hammer attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul.
Based on his statements and comments that were made in that house during his encounter with Mr. Pelosi, that this was politically motivated.
DePape pleaded not guilty in a San Francisco court Tuesday and denied the allegations against him. He'll remain in jail without bail until his next hearing Friday. The court also signed off on prosecutors' protective order prohibiting DePape from contacting the speaker or her husband or come within 150 yards of their home. According to a federal affidavit, after reportedly assaulting Paul Pelosi, DePape allegedly told San Francisco police he planned to hold Speaker Pelosi hostage and to break her kneecaps if she lied to him.
What happened to Paul Pelosi is despicable. It's unacceptable.
Though many Republicans are condemning the Pelosi assault, the party is largely stopping short of denouncing the conspiracy theories and extremism that are believed to have driven DePape to attack. The violent assault on Paul Pelosi comes as the FBI and Homeland Security warn extremists motivated by conspiracy theories and election fraud lies could target the midterm election, including poll workers. ABC and our partners at 538 find voters are concerned about the risk for political violence and conspiracy theories. The data also show close to 200 Republican candidates running for statewide or congressional seats this year are 2020 election deniers, and most of them are favored to win. And back to that Pelosi assault case, suspect David DePape is also facing federal charges, including attempted kidnapping of a U.S. official and assault of a relative of a U.S. official. Combined, those charges could amount to 50 years in prison. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
24-hour rainfall totals are impressive, particularly in Kootenai County. Rathdrum had over an inch of rain. Spirit Lake, 95 hundredths. Down on the Palouse, Moscow, and Pullman, close to 9/10 of an inch. Spokane International, less than a half inch, but it is still raining. I'll let you know about more wet weather and wind in the 7-day forecast after the break.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Summit Cancer Centers.
Coeur d'Alene Denture Clinic is locally owned and operated and has been providing personalized, comfortable, and satisfying care to our clients for over 30 years. Our licensed denturists are trained in the latest techniques in the construction, development, and preparatory work of a denture. Full dentures, implant attachments, repairs, fittings, adjustments, we do it all. Every denture is made to look as close as possible to your natural teeth. With our knowledge and friendly staff, competitive costs, and quality of service, you'll leave Coeur d'Alene Denture Clinic smiling.
This week on America's favorite morning show, the stars of the most anticipated movie of the year are live on GMA's Wakanda Forever Week. Plus, one of the biggest rock stars, well, ever, Bono live with George on GMA.
Here we grow again. Even more fun is headed to Spokane Tribe Casino. You love Caesar Sportsbook, the grill and bar, and larger variety of games we recently added. Gear up for a new food court, a completely smoke-free gaming area, a state-of-the-art entertainment venue, and more. Things just keep getting better. Play the free play Football Frenzy kiosk game Saturdays and Sundays, and you'll win a guaranteed prize of free slot play every play. Only at Spokane Tribe Casino. You just win here.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
Why is Mitch McConnell spending millions to convince you to support Tiffany Smiley?
Tiffany Smiley is outstanding.
So Trump Republicans can pass their extreme agenda. Repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Tiffany Smiley is outstanding.
Slash Medicare. Privatize Social Security.
Outstanding.
Overturn elections.
Outstanding.
Ban abortion. Roll back same-sex marriage.
Outstanding.
Smiley is Mitch McConnell's hand-picked candidate for Senate, making her the wrong choice for us.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
That cheering is from members of SpaceX as they successfully launch its Falcon Heavy, the world's most powerful operational rocket. The rocket hasn't been used since 2019. That's mainly because the payload for the Falcon Heavy is massive and really expensive. This time it is hauling satellites for the U.S. military.
Wow, very cool. It is going to be cool tonight, an overnight low of 33 degrees. Rain this evening. There will be a brief period of time where it may be cold enough to transition to snow, but I think by that time we will have dried off around the region. Don't be surprised if you see some raindrops with a little bit of extra texture, or maybe even a flake or two on the grassy surfaces. Tomorrow, isolated showers a possibility. I'll show you the latest computer model in a moment. It is doubtful that we'll see anything in Spokane. 44 degrees for our high. Here is that forecast radar that I mentioned with the light rain in progress across the region, some mountain snow. As we continue through the evening, that rain will continue, and then we start drying out in the early morning hours. Again, right about the time it would be cold enough to transition to snow, we will begin drying out. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're just seeing a little bit of snow in the higher terrain of northern Idaho and in the central Panhandle Mountains. We're dry across the rest of the region, and it looks like Wednesday should be staying dry for the most part. An isolated sprinkle or flurry possible. It would be a good day to get down the Halloween decorations and prepare for some of the weather that is coming. This computer model picks up where the last one left off Wednesday night. We're going to have also a fairly quiet Thursday, but then as we get into Thursday night, here's 6, 7, 8 o'clock, we bring in the next round of snow. How much accumulates is a little bit of a work in progress. This is one computer model's estimation, and I think these are a little high, to be honest, particularly around Coeur d'Alene. I think 6.1 inches, 8 in Sandpoint, but 1 to 3 around Spokane, with up to 4 in Coeur d'Alene is a good possibility. This is noon Friday, but we're going to be getting up close to 50 degrees on Friday, so a lot of the snow that we get Friday morning will melt as the day goes on, if not all of it. And with fairly warm roads, there may just be a brief period of time Friday morning where the roads are a little iffy. Expect some snow to develop on the grassy surfaces, however, on Friday morning. The next system comes in late Friday, and I'll be talking more about that in the next half hour. But first, our overnight lows tonight, down around freezing in Spokane, 29 in Pullman, 24 in Colville, and 29 in Sandpoint. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the 40s. 50 degrees in Grand Coulee and Lewiston, but it is going to be a cool day. Mostly dry on Wednesday. The next round of wet weather comes in Thursday night in the form of snow, turning into a rain-snow mix. Then the winds pick up on Friday into Saturday, potentially damaging winds with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. I will be back in the next half hour to tell you more about that wind event on the way. Aaron?
Chris, thank you. The human composting, the name might make you raise an eyebrow just at that. It is a new process, and it could be catching on.
First made legal in Washington back in May of 2020, our state is one of only 2 currently offering this type of burial. And our Emily Bloom takes a closer look.
This area here behind me may not look like a cemetery in the traditional sense of the word. It's one of a few newer and more sustainable options being offered to the Spokane community as the final resting place for their loved ones.
Spokane's becoming a more diverse place, and there are people that want to look at traditional options, cremation, and then also enter into the green market with the green burial and natural organic reduction, alkaline hydrolysis.
In May of last year, Heritage Funeral Home opened Forest Grove as a place for green burials. Hand-dug graves with a variety of biodegradable caskets and markers made of natural stone to maintain the sustainability.
It has really taken off. We found that families really are interested in that option as a means to, be more sensitive to the environment. Also, it's more of a natural return to the earth.
Soon, they'll be offering another life-giving alternative.
A lot of people want a different option for their end-of-life care that's both more mindful for the environment and gives people the ability to see their loved one's life live on.
That's where human composting, otherwise known as natural organic reduction, comes in. Brianna Smith works on the west side for a return home, and they'll be partnering with Heritage Funeral Home. Washington State working as a pioneer for the practice.
We are the first place in the entire world to legalize what we call terramation, but is commonly known as human composting.
It's a process that gently transforms human remains into life-giving soil with alfalfa, straw, sawdust, and thyme. When it's done, the soil is returned to family to be used however they want, wherever they want. Plant a tree or scatter it in a sacred place.
It's not inert. It contains phosphorus and calcium and magnesium and carbon and all these wonderful things that we can put back into the soil that enrich our world.
They say this is a way your last act on the planet can be giving back to the earth.
I see a lot of people really thinking through the processes that are available and vibing with something that's just gentle and passive and natural and doesn't take up a lot of resources.
Paying the gift of life forward.
We feel it's important to make sure that we're offering end-of-life solutions for everybody in our community.
Heritage Funeral Home will begin offering NOR, natural organic reduction, in December. Reporting in Spokane at Forest Grove, Emily Bloom, 4 News Now.
Well, coming up next in sports, Eastern Washington is getting ready to take on Idaho on Saturday. Why the Vandals aren't the only thing Eastern Washington has to prepare for.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Freedom, liberty, pursuing American dreams. That's Idaho. But Joe Biden severely threatened our way of life. Reckless energy policies sent gas prices soaring, irresponsible spending, and record-breaking inflation. Open borders allowed dangerous drugs and crime into our neighborhoods. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message because we are Idaho, and together we'll fight to protect Idaho's way of life.
So we were walking to school. I started thinking about lunch. Mom packed me turkey and cheese.
She's
I really
smart.
want cheese pizza.
Sometimes her mind wanders.
We should have a sleepover.
I remember saying, Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
I really hope she doesn't have another bad day.
I really hope we don't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Your retirement is a bridge to the future, and the right Medicare plan ensures your future's healthy. Fortunately, Blue Cross of Idaho can set you on the right path. Your home is their home. Count on them to look after you.
Find the right Medicare plan by requesting your free information kit. Call the number on screen now or scan the QR code. There's no obligation. Our affordable True Blue HMO Medicare Advantage plans give you $0 primary care visits, urgent care and labs, along with $0 generic drugs. And you'll value significant extras like dental, vision, hearing, fitness, and health coverage away from home.
For over 75 years, Blue Cross of Idaho has been the right choice for Idahoans like you and me. It's the Idaho way.
You have until December 7th to find the right plan. To get your free kit, call or visit their website today.
They keep us safe, put their lives on the line every day. Yet radicals want to defund the police and give criminals get-out-of-jail-free cards. That's the last thing we need. Law enforcement has a champion, Kathy McMorris Rogers. Kathy says no to defunding the police and voted to secure more funding for local police departments. Endorsed by police and sheriffs, Kathy backs the blue, and they back her.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
4 News Now is brought to you by All Lines Insurance at alllinesinsured.com.
There's a little bit more, I wouldn't say extracurriculars, but maybe, a little bit more or a little less hugging and kissing to go on.
Eastern Washington isn't calling the matchup against Idaho a rivalry, but as you just heard from Eagles head coach Aaron Best, it'll be anything but friendly when the teams take the field Saturday at the Kibbe Dome. Eastern has won the last 2 matchups against the Vandals, but this Idaho team is much different than previous years. The Vandals are ranked 15th in the country under new head coach Jason Eck. Oh, and Eastern Washington is playing on the road in a dome. Eastern hasn't had the best success in Moscow. The Eagles have spent the week preparing for the unique challenges the Kibbe Dome presents.
This whole week of practice is going to be cold here, but then in the Kibbe Dome it's always sunny and 70. So if you don't hydrate during the week, you won't be. It'll kind of be a shock when it's 70 degrees in November. But yeah, definitely that heat thing, and then just they always have a good crowd. It seems like they've gotten a better fan base recently.
Anytime you play on the road, it's hard, and then when you play a very good team on the road, it's even harder. But I think our kids will be up for it. Hopefully, they have a good crowd. They've done a good job of fan engagement, and they've had some good home healthy crowds thus far. And hopefully, they are fans travel well, and we get to go down there for the first time since spring of 21.
Idaho is the 4th-ranked team Eastern Washington will play this season. Kickoff between Eastern and Idaho is set for noon on Saturday from the Kibbe Dome, and we will have team coverage right here on 4 News Now. If you watch Washington State football, chances are you'll see a lot of this guy, #1 linebacker Daiyan Henley. The senior linebacker is having an incredible season, and now he's getting some national attention. Henley is the first player in Washington State history to be named a Butkus Award semifinalist. Now, the Butkus Award is given to the nation's top linebacker. Henley is 2nd in the Pac-12 in tackles and tackles for loss. Henley and the Cougs hit the road to take on Stanford this week. Kickoff is scheduled for 12:30 on Saturday. And just because it's Tuesday doesn't mean we have any big high school football games. Now, there are a a few matchups with major implications tonight. In Class 4A, Lewis and Clark host Hanford at Union Stadium. Kickoff is at 7. Winner will take on Sunnyside High School on Saturday. In 2A, we also have a tiebreaker matchup. Shadle Park is taking on Clarkston as we speak. The winner of that will take on West Valley right afterwards for a chance to punch their ticket to state. We'll have highlights and scores tonight on Nightside. And finally, check these out. Gonzaga revealed special edition camo jerseys. The Bulldogs will wear these in the Armed Forces Classic matchup against Michigan State next Friday. The game will be played on the flight deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln in San Diego. The jerseys pay tribute to the Armed Forces with USA stitched across the back instead of the player names. Tip-off between Gonzaga and Michigan State is scheduled for 3:30 on November 11th. That'll wrap us up for sports. I'm Julian Minnesota.
Julian, thank you. Hyundai is recalling tens of thousands of one of the most popular SUVs.
We'll explain how an issue with the brakes could lead to a fire coming up. Plus,
temperatures are dropping and your utility bill is going up. I talked to Vista officials on the natural gas rate increase and simple tips to save your money. That's coming up.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
Healthy communities need more than health care. This is MultiCare. We're here for you.
The world needs solutions.
Like now.
We need more voices.
More voices?
More voices.
Not less.
We don't build barriers.
We tear them down!
I learn from great books, but I write my own story.
And look to the future.
The world needs me.
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 Me. Me.
What's better than warm cookies fresh from the oven? All the tasty ingredients for warm cookies on sale. Yum!
Mix up the savings this Thursday for Super One Foods 12-hour bake sale. Assorted Betty Crocker cake mix, just 98 cents each. Nestle Toll House morsels, just $1.98 a bag. And get Food Club powdered sugar, brown sugar, and all-purpose flour for more great baking.
Super One Foods 12-hour bake sale. This Thursday only. The savings are sweet.
This is a story of first downs and second chances.
I wanted to keep playing, but my feet hurt.
You'd think all those big league experts could have helped.
You have access to anything, but none of it worked.
His football career ended, but his plantar fasciitis pain didn't. Till he found the Good Feet store.
I got fitted for my arch supports. Let me tell you something. They work.
Now, he recommends Good Feet to
anybody. If you move, go to the Good Feet store.
So get moving. Come in for your free fitting. At Providence, we've been investing in the health of the community and raising the standard of care for over 160 years. And we are honored to bring you top-rated Medicare Advantage coverage. Providence plans start at just $0, include dental, hearing, and vision, and connect you to a network of thousands of local providers. Providence. Join us as we make communities stronger by building true health together.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
Well, after almost a month of mostly warm, dry weather, the 4 News Now weather team is going to be busy over the next few days.
Yeah, it's about time. Let's get them working. Let's waste no. What?
This guy. Good point.
I'm just kidding.
Good point.
We do have a lot of things coming our way, and so there are things we should keep aware, keep an eye on.
Yes, we are packing a month's worth of weather into just the next few days. Here are 4 things that you need to know about the weather upcoming. First of all, the rain in progress right now will come to an end later tonight. In spots, it may transition briefly over to a rain-snow mix, or you may even see a little bit of snow at your house, but no accumulation. Those snow levels dropping tonight. We have valley snow on the way for Friday morning, and that is expected to be our first measurable snow in the valleys through the inland northwest. Initially, it's still a few days off. It looks like 1 to 3 around the Spokane area with a little more in Coeur d'Alene. And then the winds pick up late Friday, and that may be the storm system that's causing the most concern right now, because it does have the potential for wind gusts in the 50-mile-per-hour range. That is enough to cause some tree damage as well as knock out power. And I will be talking a lot more about that upcoming storm in just a few minutes in this broadcast. But first, the task at hand. We have rain in progress around the region. We're zoomed in on our Doppler radar around the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area with light rain around the entire region. Snow levels still fairly high across the area. However, that will be dropping as we get into the overnight, but we're also going to be drying out as we get into the overnight. No real back edge to our precipitation yet. It's still fairly steady. We're looking at this to begin wrapping up sometime early tomorrow morning, but again, before we get cold enough that we would make that transition to snow. Our temperatures right now only 39 in Spokane. It is a cold rain, 38 in Coeur d'Alene. It is only 32 degrees right now in Moscow and Pullman, where we could see some snow, 37 in Sandpoint and 39 in Bonners Ferry. Right around the Spokane area, temperatures range from the mid-30s to the lower 40s. It's 42 right now in Spokane Valley. Taking a look now at your forecast this evening, expect that steady rain to continue through about 9-10 o'clock. Then it becomes more showery by 11, and then we'll slowly taper off overnight. I will be back with more about the wind on the way and the snow for Friday morning in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Chris, thank you. Well, $10.27. That's how much Avista says you can expect your natural gas bill to go up in Washington as their new pricing went into effect today. Our Peter Choi has been working on this. He explains what caused the price hike and the steps you can take to save money on your utility bills while keeping your family warm.
The weather is getting colder every day, and if you use natural gas to heat up your house, you may soon pay more for your next utility bill. Avista officials say this rate increase is because of higher nationwide wholesale gas prices.
Temperatures are dropping, and your utility bill is going up. And customers,
it's going to be hard for a lot of people.
Can't keep up with the rising cost.
They have to price in exactly what they've got, and when you figure it out for the whole year, every month, with all the costs of everything else going.
Avista officials say customers using an average of 109 therms per month can expect increase of 8%, more than $10 a month. People can save money by following simple tips such as...
And what this does, it's basically a thin film that covers the window from the interior side. It shows you hitting it with a hairdryer there. That will actually smooth it out once you install it and take out the wrinkles and kind of tighten it up a little.
Or you can also use door sweeps to reduce air leaks.
It's a pretty low-cost way to go around and reduce the air infiltration and exfiltration in your house.
Customers will see differences depending on their house conditions. Avista officials say customers are asked to contact the office for bill assistance and payment plan. In Spokane, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
On the other hand, in Idaho, the bill changes have not yet been approved by the commission. Avista says if approved, customers using an average of 63 therms per month could expect an increase more than $7 per month.
To try and lower gas prices, President Biden is threatening to impose a so-called windfall tax on oil and gas companies after reporting record profits.
Rather than increasing our investments in America or giving American consumers a break, their excess profits are going back to their shareholders, and they're buying back their stock, so the executive pays are going to skyrocket.
President Biden claims the companies are, quote, war profiteering off the conflict in Ukraine and urged them to use their cash to expand production or lower their prices.
If they don't, they're going to pay a higher tax on their excess profits and face other restrictions. My team will work with Congress to look at these options.
The oil and gas companies dismissing Biden's statement as campaign rhetoric. The American Petroleum Institute saying, quote, oil companies do not set prices, global commodity markets do. Increasing taxes on American energy discourages investment in new production, which is the exact opposite of what is needed.
Well, the Thor River Freya construction project is going to take a little longer than expected. The city says crews are working and adding their concrete, which is a time-consuming project. But the city says it will be worth it, saying it will keep the corridor in good condition for a lot longer. Construction is set to be complete now on November 30th.
We have a consumer alert for anyone who drives a 2018 Hyundai Santa Fe. The company is recalling certain models because of a fire risk. It says the anti-lock brake system module could malfunction and cause an electrical short, which could result in an engine compartment fire while parked or driving. The company strongly urges owners to park their cars outside and away from any building until it is fixed. This new recall is in addition to the 2016-2018 Hyundai Santa Fe vehicles recalled earlier this year for the same safety defect. To date, there have been 4 fires in the United States associated with this defect. No injuries. Starting today, parking downtown just got a little bit more expensive. If you use the Park Mobile app to pay for parking downtown, you'll also pay an extra 35 cents per parking session.
And this increase helps the city's parking services deal with lost revenue during the pandemic. New at 6:30, our Bronte Sorotsky has how this price increase will help with the city's COVID recovery.
Starting Tuesday, if you use the Park Mobile app, parking downtown just got more expensive.
Just the cost of everything going up.
And now, the cost to park downtown will go up by an extra 35 cents if you use the Park Mobile app.
So we're trying to make up for that revenue loss.
The city says their parking services department lost $3.9 million in revenue during the pandemic. Now, they're trying to make up for those losses.
So this is really, an impact of COVID for the most part. And again, if we don't figure out a way to bring in that revenue, this is one of the ways that we can do it in order to keep that department alive.
People who park downtown are already noticing the increase.
Like whether it's Uber rides down here or paying for the meter or what have you, everything just adds up after a while.
Some drivers say they'll use change instead to avoid those fee increases.
Because if you have that hard change ready to go, okay, just plug it in and you're off. But now you got to fiddle around with an app and it costs extra money.
The city says this transaction fee will be what keeps their parking services alive. And if you want to avoid that 35-cent charge each time you park, you can always use a credit card or use change. Reporting in Spokane, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
Victims from the Parkland school shooting finally got to face the man that changed their lives forever.
He has gotten everything he's wanted in this case, and we are left with nothing and a slap in the face to top it off.
Why many of them feel hurt and betrayed by the justice system. That's coming up.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
4 News Now is brought to you by MultiCare Health System.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
September 7th was horrible.
All hell broke loose.
80% of the town lost their homes. My family's home burned to the ground. It was just heartbreaking. Kathy was there for us. Not taking political sides. She's done a lot.
Put her name on the line to help here.
Kathy helped us start the journey to rebuilding.
She went above and beyond. She genuinely, actually cares.
I'm Kathy McMars-Rogers, and I approve this message.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
Vote with confidence this November. In Washington, our layered cybersecurity systems, trained officials, and election audits make sure every vote is counted accurately. After you've received your ballot packet in the mail, fill it out and send it back in your signed return envelope. You can also put it in an official drop box or submit it in person. Visit votewa.gov to register, find voting locations, and check your ballot status.
Donald Trump's biracial former girlfriend.
She quotes him as saying, "You got your looks from your mother and your intelligence from your dad." Yeah. The white side.
Next, Inside Edition, the exclusive Deborah Norville interview. Before Melania, there was supermodel Cara Young. Now, after all these years, why she finally decided to break her silence. Next, Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
New tonight at 6:30, researchers just released this image of what appears to be a galactic spider web. You see it?
No.
Aaron doesn't see it.
I see it.
Okay, Chris sees it. Scientists,
Oh, come on.
I see it.
Scientists are telling us that
Dust bunny.
a massive star exploded in the Vela constellation about 11,000 years ago, and shockwaves from that explosion compressed the gas released by the star to form the threads you're seeing or not seeing. At 800 light years away, it is one of the closest known features to Earth. Beautiful.
Galactic tumbleweed.
Maybe it's more like spider veins that I'm seeing. Beautiful,
so
regardless. We have got a lot to talk about in your forecast focus. We've been sounding the alert, our first alert about this upcoming wind event Friday night into Saturday. That is still several days away, but we want to let you know right away because you can make some plans. Bring in those headstones off the Halloween scape. That's one of the first things. Maybe bring the basketball hoop in, secure the patio furniture if you haven't already done that. We do have a cold front coming in Friday evening, and it is strong. It is a significant storm. Strong, potentially damaging winds with this storm. We're looking at 50-mile-per-hour gusts possible. That could change. That could go up. It could go down. My hunch is that if anything, it goes down a little bit. I don't see this as one of our big windstorms. The windstorms that we had November a few years ago, we talked about that. We were looking at 70-plus mile-per-hour winds, but still 50-mile-per-hour winds can do some damage. Let's go to the timing. This is the latest computer model, and this has changed just since 5 o'clock this evening, bringing the winds down a little bit. We're starting off Friday at noon, and it's already going to be windy. Friday at noon, 20 to 30-mile-per-hour gusts in Spokane, but those pick up Friday night. Here's 9 o'clock Friday night with those winds in the 40 to 50-mile-per-hour range. Now, unfortunately, the strongest winds are going to be coming in the overnight on Saturday. I say unfortunately. If you have a bedroom where you are in the path of a ponderosa pine, you may want to move to another part of the house before you go to bed on Friday night. We do that at my house. We're looking at 40 to 50-mile-per-hour gusts in the Spokane area. If that's a little bit higher, and with all the wet weather we've had, that really does put some of our trees at risk. By noon Saturday, it's still going to be a windy day, but nowhere near as windy, and we're not going to be in that damaging range. Here's a look at some wind comparisons. When we're in that 30 to 40-mile-per-hour range, it is windy, bad hair day. Secure the garbage can lids. Once we're in the 40 to 55-mile-per-hour range, that can damage trees, carports, sheds. We really start to see problem with trees falling when we're above 55-mile-per-hour winds, and right now we're not expecting those kind of gusts. We are going to bring in some colder air behind our strong cold front. Look at our high on Tuesday, 31 degrees, and it looks like that cold is going to be here to stay. The November 9th to November 15th forecast, we got some dark blues on here indicating a strong trend of below average temperatures. Not as strong, but hint toward above average precipitation. So go ahead, get those winter tires on, get those winter coats out, wax up the skis. I think we're gonna get winter going here in pretty short order. Late fall for the next few days. We're gonna see the precipitation Friday morning in the form of some light snow, measurable snow in the valleys. That will be melting through the day. However, weather wet weather off and on Saturday and Sunday, both rain and snow, and then some snow showers and cold to start next work week. Busy weather, Aaron.
Oh, and that means you got to be busy doing things, getting everything ready for the coming cold. Thanks, Chris.
Checklist for sure.
That is true. All of the coats have been collected for this year's Coats for Kids campaign. Now it's time for the next phase.
Yes, we got to get those coats cleaned and give them out to children in our community for the winter. Alsco is the cleaning service we've been partnering with for 3 years now. Bags of new and gently used coats have already been in and out of the cleaning process and brought to distribution sites in town, but there are still a lot more to go. And while they normally clean for healthcare, food and service and hospitality industries, cleaning coats are just a little extra something they're happy to do for the kids.
Some kids to be warm and get coats that they may not be able to afford normally feels really good.
If you missed out on donating 2 coats for kids, you're encouraged to give to a local clothing bank so more kids are able to receive coats this winter.
Distribution sites across Spokane and Coeur d'Alene open as soon as this week. Just go to KXLY.com/coats for kids to pick up some coats for your kids and your family. Here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight. It's Bachelor in Paradise at 8, followed by The Rookie Feds at 10.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
I have a little bit of savings, but I depend on Social Security and Medicare. I'm alarmed to read that Tiffany Smiley supports a plan that could virtually, in all respects, end Social Security and Medicare in 5 years. Then she'd make Congress fight about whether to create those programs all over again. It's a nightmare. Tiffany Smiley, I earned my Social Security and Medicare. I will not let you take them away.
Women Voters responsible for the content of this advertising.
This could be the view out of your office window. Link Transit, serving the picturesque communities of Wenatchee, Leavenworth, Chelan, and many more, is looking for drivers to join our team on some of the most beautiful routes in all of Washington. Link Transit coach operators enjoy full family benefits, paid CDL training, a state-of-the-art fleet, and the satisfaction of being part of a progressive, community-minded team. If you like this view, Link has a seat for you. The next operator training starts soon. Apply today at linktransit.com.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
You didn't choose cat allergies, your hairline, or that thing when your knee just gives out for no reason. But you can choose your doctor who will care for all the things you didn't choose. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
Why is Mitch McConnell spending millions to convince you to support Tiffany Smiley?
Tiffany Smiley is outstanding.
So Trump Republicans can pass their extreme agenda. Repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Tiffany Smiley is outstanding.
Slash Medicare. Privatize Social Security.
Outstanding.
Overturn elections.
Outstanding.
Ban abortion. Roll back same-sex marriage.
Outstanding.
Smiley is Mitch McConnell's hand-picked candidate for Senate, making her the wrong choice for us.
I finally get to fulfill my dream of being in the FBI.
It's the reason why I chose each of you, the outside-the-box thinkers.
I did good, right?
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
But what we've been told here is that 17 lives are worth nothing if you can make enough excuses for your actions. He has gotten everything he's wanted in this case, and we are left with nothing and a slap in the face to top it off.
Betrayed and hurt by the justice system. That's how the victims and their families of the Parkland High School shooting described their feelings in court today, knowing Nikolas Cruz, the man responsible for killing their loved ones, will not face the death penalty. It was the first time the families were able to directly address Nikolas Cruz in court as a part of his 2-day sentencing hearing.
CNN's Jen Sullivan looks at the emotional day and what we can expect tomorrow.
I feel betrayed by our justice system.
The two-day sentencing hearing for the Parkland, Florida school shooter began Tuesday with highly emotional statements from grieving families who lost loved ones and anguished survivors.
No one that's up here right now can imagine what it's like to have a little sister murdered.
Megan Petty's 14-year-old little sister Elena was one of the 17 victims shot and killed at Stoneman Douglas High School on February 14, 2018. Tuesday marked the first time families were able to speak freely without being vetted by lawyers and directly to the shooter in open court.
He was stolen from us by an unimaginable act that you planned and executed. You stole him from us.
Nicholas Cruz pleaded guilty to 17 counts of murder and 17 counts of attempted murder. After a months-long trial, the jury last month recommended Cruz be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His defense attorneys argued he was disturbed and mentally ill. But many parents wanted to see Cruz get the death penalty and expressed their deep concerns to the judge.
Knowing he gets to live out the rest of his natural life, something Elena doesn't get to do, because of his disgusting and violent actions.
Cruz will be formally sentenced Wednesday. The judge cannot change the sentencing outcome. The hearing was simply a chance for families to open up and hopefully find closure.
There's nothing more important to my family than receiving justice for Alex.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
Next, E.T. King Charles's royal regret about William and Harry. New book bombshells revealed. Then,
hey, entertainment tonight. Let's check out some of my favorite things.
104 holiday gift ideas from Oprah, our sneak peek. And
Hawaii Week continues with Zachary Knighton and Stephen Hill.
We're canoe surfing with Magnum PI stars in Honolulu.
Next, E.T. Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30.
Freedom, liberty, pursuing American dreams. That's Idaho. But Joe Biden severely threatened our way of life. Reckless energy policies sent gas prices soaring, irresponsible spending, and record-breaking inflation. Open borders allowed dangerous drugs and crime into our neighborhoods. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message because we are Idaho, and together we'll fight to protect Idaho's way of life.
You already know that free Camas Rewards let you earn and redeem points everywhere at Northern Quest. But did you know that everywhere includes the all-new East Pan Asian cuisine and Neon Pizza? Plus, you'll enjoy our new weekday happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. You'll even save 10 cents a gallon at our Kalispell Chevrons. And new Camas Rewards members can win up to $2,022 in reward play instantly. Only at Northern Quest. Yes, the best.
The best holiday moments are even better when shared. Experience more together in the Mazda CX-9 with a refined performance of standard I-Active all-wheel drive and a wish list of interior comforts. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
The 7-passenger Mazda CX-9. Get it for your family, drive it for yourself. Come take a test drive today at Foothills Mazda or shop now at SpokaneMazda.com.
The people ask us to bring peace to the city of Spokane. How's mainstream accepts?
I know you. There's something awakening in my mind.
You must face your fears.
Come with me. You need to be ready.
Four News Now is brought to you by Gamma Knife.
Tomorrow will be one of our drier and calmer days. Only a slight chance of a sprinkle or flurry. High temperature of 44 degrees. A cool day, but nothing like what is on the way.
This is the checklist time, like Aaron mentioned.
So much anticipation.
Yes.
It's only Tuesday.
We're giving you the first alert. That's our brand. We want you to anticipate it.
I just want to know the day before.
You want to be surprised?
No,
I don't think they agree with you.
I don't want to be surprised.
I don't.
Maybe we'll talk about it more tomorrow and just like forget
You don't think Chris is going to talk about it more tomorrow?
That's not what we're doing.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app. See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.